Hello, and welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Charie Ginete-Ilon. Today, we're diving into a conversation about leadership, business, and community. My guest is Karima Jivraj, the chair of the board at the New Westminster Chamber of Commerce and owner of Bosley's at Columbia Square. Before we dive in, allow me to invite you to hit that subscribe or follow button so that you'll be notified each time we have a new episode here on Life Expressions. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us, Karima.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me to join you this morning.
Let us start with your journey to becoming the chair of the board at New Westminster Chamber of Commerce. Can you take us back to the beginning? What inspired you to first get involved with the chamber?
So, when I initially started my business in New Westminster, I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And, I joined the board. And then because I was the chair of the BIA board, or the president of the BIA, the Downtown New Westminster BIA board, I didn't feel it was appropriate for me to be on both boards. So I stepped down at the chamber board and I rejoined the New Westminster Chamber board in May of 2024. And in June of 2025, I was appointed as the chair of the board.
Yeah, so how has been the journey so far, being the chair of the board?
There is a lot to do. We are a working board. We only have one part-time staff member, and so we are a working board, and we're super excited. There's so much to do. We've got lots of fun, things happening. We've got lots of advocacy work coming up, so we're super, super excited about that.
Yeah. And so, apart from the fun, what has been the most rewarding part of your journey so far?
For me, it's being a part of the community. It's taking the community from, to see the community grow is what it is. Like I said, 14, 15 years ago when I started my business in New Westminster, it was there is a small community, but now as we grow, you can see the changes, you can see the people, it is different. The businesses are different, the changes are different. And it's just nice to see the city become, bigger, for lack of a better term, and also grow, but to see the different types of businesses, to see the different types of business leadership that is now in the community. And so that's exciting for me.
Yeah. And can you share with us the initiatives that you have led so far, and how has the role of the chamber changed in supporting businesses, local businesses at New West?
So the chamber was quiet, during the pandemic, and then it came back and it had to just kind of basically start from scratch, which it did. And so I look forward to the new programs or the new things that we're doing. I look forward to working within the business community to advocate as they need it. I look forward to working with the rest of the board, who is incredibly amazing. And that's not to say that the previous board wasn't amazing, that they were, they did what they needed to do. They got us to this point. I now take it to the next level. And so
Yeah.
that's my goal, and you always climb, right? When you bring in a new leadership team, the new leadership team takes it to the next level and the next level. And so that's our goal, is to keep going to the next
Yeah.
level.
That is wonderful, taking it to the next level. But what are the challenges that you think businesses face today that the chamber needs to support?
So I think, specific to New Westminster is a lot of the construction that, causes access issues, that causes traffic issues, that causes parking issues. So a lot of those things are key. The other part, from the municipal level, there is a perception, or there is a feeling that, the community in certain areas of the city is not as safe to do business in. There are concerns with regards, and we all know, and it's not just New Westminster, it's a global issue. It's a Canadian issue, that there is an increase in homelessness. There is an increase in mental health awareness. There is an increase, you see maybe it's just more spotlighted in the addiction issues. And so I think those are some of the challenges that businesses are facing. The other part is the uncertainty with the global market, the tariffs, the economy globally. I think that's part of an issue. I think a lot of it, is staffing, hiring, keeping, maintaining or retaining staff. Those are the challenges that I am seeing. And it's not, as a business owner, you're a juggler, right? You're
Yeah.
juggling multiple balls. And it's hard to keep everything in the air altogether.
True, that is so true. Those challenges. So, where does the New West Chamber come into play in supporting these businesses overcome those challenges? I know it is difficult and there's a lot of challenges, right? But are there businesses that come to New West Chamber for support, like for advice, counseling, in whatever form?
Yes, businesses do come to us. Businesses do ask us to advocate. It is challenging, but we just have to take it one step at a time, right? Like we work with the municipal government. We will work with We have no qualms reaching out to the provincial government. We have no qualms reaching out to the federal government, right? In the fall, we have a whole series of events coming up, starting on September 5th, which is our breakfast with MP Jake Sawatsky. As you all know, he's the newest MP. He's a new MP for Burnaby, New Westminster, and Millardville. And so, it's a large area for him to get to know everybody. So the New Westminster Chamber of Commerce is hosting a breakfast with Jake on September 5th, so that you get to meet him, you get to ask him the questions, you get to put forth, whatever your concerns are about the community so that he is able to, if he can't answer them now, at least get back and get you the answers, right? So that's part of it. We're providing you with that access to these people and saying, here's an open forum, come in and talk, because you're not the only one having those issues. There are multiple of you having the issues. So it's better to have more voices advocate together, right? It's one thing for me to walk up to MP Sawatsky and say, these are the issues. But it's a whole different thing if the community comes out and says, these are the issues, right?
Yes.
In October 24th, we will be hosting a event called Voices for a Safer Community, where we're hoping to have, the provincial minister, the federal minister, as well as, the local police chief, a nonprofit on a panel to talk about how do we as a community work together, not just as a community, but as a business community. How do we work together to create ethical, sustainable, creative solutions to the issues that we're facing,
Yeah.
right? Because instead of the finger pointing, how about we all work together to try and figure out how do we make it better, right? I can voice my opinion, but the nonprofit can voice their opinion, but nobody's really talking to each other.
Yeah.
So let's try and do that. November, we're hoping to have the provincial minister. We have already confirmed that the CEO of ICBC will be coming to talk about transport and New Westminster. And New Westminster. New Westminster is a commuter city. So we all know how it all, and traffic jams are the norm. Like, have you seen Royal Avenue during
Yeah.
rush hour?
Oh, for sure.
It
Yes.
could take me a half an hour to get out of my building's parking lot onto Royal Avenue sometimes, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. So we'll be doing that. So again, these are forums for business owners to step out, come out and, to voice their concerns, to speak to people. Um, we encourage you. If you're a business owner in New Westminster, become a member of the chamber so we are better able to advocate for you,
Yes.
right? New Westminster has 4,200 business licenses, just over 4,200 business licenses. We have just over 200 members. We should have at least 25% of those businesses as our members so that we're able to give a better voice for
True.
the business community. That's
I
right.
wanted to commend I wanted to commend you and the rest of your team for bringing in these initiatives in the coming months. September, October, November, you are providing a lot of access to business owners and the community, and of course, the opportunity for all of the members of the community and the leaders to work together for the good of New West and the bigger community for that matter. Karima, let's go to the collaboration between the chamber and the community as we're talking already about that. The chamber is often seen as a bridge. How are you strengthening the connection between businesses and the wider community?
So we will be, one of our the other initiatives is we will be meeting with the downtown BIA, the uptown BIA, arts and culture in New West. We're going to be meeting with all these different stakeholders within the community to see how we can all work together in a collaborative, right? So we start off with the business organizations, and then we come to the nonprofits, and then we come to the community group, the residents associations and things like that. Let us all work together to try and figure out, how do we all work together? How do we all support each other? You know, I have the chamber has its strengths. What is the BIA strengths? What is the Uptown BIA strengths? What is the Sapperton Business Collective strengths? Let's all work on those strengths and try to be, right? We are trying our very best to be inclusive of the entire community. So wherever we host our events, we try and make it so that everybody is able to come and be part of it, participate, and things like that. And so we're doing our level best, and it's not just in terms of these three key events. We're also doing the initiatives like Waves Wednesday, which is the first Wednesday of every month. We will have a keynote speaker. So September's keynote speaker is Dr. Charie Zhao to talk about AI and how to use it for business in an ethical manner, right? And so there's all of that. For someone like me, that's not very, technology, tech, whatever, having someone like Dr. Charie Zhao come and talk about how to use AI, like, that's fantastic because
Yeah.
it gives me an idea, but it's also my fellow business owners. The only business owner that's leery of using AI, right? Like, so why don't we talk about that? So not only does the chamber do the advocacy, but we also have the opportunity for education. We have the opportunity, for connections. So if you're a business, you need help with whatever, we can direct you. Maybe you need help from the city, maybe you need help from another community organization, but we're able to sort of fix that and kind of, I don't know, you could say the chamber could be air traffic control for businesses in New West.
That's a great way to put it. Let's go to your leadership insights, Karima. You've had the chance to serve in both business and civic roles. How have those experiences shaped your leadership styles?
You know what? I've learned so much over the last 15 years. And I have grown so much in the last 15 years. There is no question that I'm very direct and straightforward in how I talk and how I present myself. But I've also had to learn how to pick my battles and what to fight. Right. And I think that has been the biggest growing experience, instead of being like, I think I've just had to learn on how to be um how to handle the political scene, how to handle the diplomatic, you know, scene, how to do all of that. And that's been a huge growing experience for me. And, I am grateful for that. Being in a leadership role in the city has given me the opportunity to learn so much and to see so much. My experiences as the chair, or as the president of the downtown BIA taught me all kinds of things about building a city, building a vibrant city, from attending all the conferences that I did with the downtown BIA, and now with the chamber, I get to attend a whole different perception of conferences with politicians, with local business leaders, with national business leaders and stuff, and to learn from there. My work within the pet industry, in the Pets Canada Board of Directors, again, learning local, international, national, how to navigate the different scenes. So it's been amazing. The stuff that I've learned from lobbying the government in Ottawa for Pets Canada to helping lobby the local government here. Like, it all kind of translates. And I've been so lucky that everybody's like, but those are like completely different, right? But they're really not. In the sense that the learning lessons have provided, like whatever I've learned with Pets Canada has helped me with here locally in New Westminster, and whatever's helped me here locally in New Westminster has helped me with Pets Canada. And so it makes a big, like, for me, I'm just super grateful that I've been given that opportunity.
Yeah. And share with us, what are those major lessons that you have learned?
You know, I'm going to say that we tend to focus, I think a lot of us forget that there is a bigger world out there. Right? And we get so focused on our little part of the world that we forget what's happening. And I can tell you that business owners, globally all have the same concerns, like staffing, cost of goods, profit and loss, like all of these things. Government, how do we handle this? How do we handle that? Like, all of the businesses across the world face the same, right? So it's just, you never know what you're going to learn. And so when you're at these conferences internationally or nationally, and you're talking to people and you realize they have the same concern that I have. But let's ask them, what are they doing? How are they doing something differently? Right? To make it better. And I think those are the things. Like, I've learned, to take every opportunity presented as a learning opportunity, because I always come back with something new. Whether it's how to re-merchandise my store, or how to do something differently in my store, or how to, lobby the government, whether it's provincial, municipal, federal. Those are really good lessons to have learned. Like, I
Yeah.
never would have thought that I would be sitting in a senator's office asking them to, or lobbying them to consider removing GST from pet food, right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
those are, yeah. And it also made me realize that I don't need to be intimidated by sitting in a
Yes.
senator's office, or by sitting in the mayor's office, or by sitting in a CEO's office and, going, oh my God, I like, I think the biggest lesson is that we all have our issues. We just have to learn to deal
Yes.
with them.
Yes.
We just deal with them differently.
Yes, correct. Decision making is one of the biggest and most important skills for a leader. What values guide you in your decision making?
You know, one of the things that my dad always taught me, and he's been my biggest mentor, is always to be honest and have integrity, right? Stick to your ethics, right? And look at the bigger picture, right? So, yes, when I'm making a decision about my business, it's about my business. But when I'm sitting as the chair of the board, it's not about my business. It's about everybody's business. How do I look at that bigger picture? I need to step out of the me and my impact to their impact, our impact, and to look at that, right? So I try really hard to look at it in the sense that, as a business owner, what would I like? And then would that translate to everybody else?
Yeah.
And would they want that? And I think it's not an easy process to come to, right? Like, sometimes we forget, right? That we're not just, as a board member, I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about everybody. And so it's a learning lesson to remember to look at the bigger picture, but it's also sticking true to your ethics, your values, your integrity, and being honest. And I think that, yeah, there are easier ways around sometimes, but are those ethical? Are those honest? Right? And so I think it's just that way. And I'm incredibly lucky. The boards I've sat on and the boards I do sit on, everybody has amazing ideas. Everybody wants to contribute and you listen to everybody. And I think that is the key, is being able to listen. And even if I may not understand it, and even if I may have a different perspective, at least I'm open to listening and to learning from them.
I love that. Always open to listening and learning. Integrity is key in doing our businesses, right? Whether it's personal or out there in the bigger
That's right.
world. Looking at the bigger picture also
Mhm.
is a very good thing. And that allows us to really not just look at our impact, but the impact for everyone. I love that. Karima, I know you have just stepped into the role as chair of New West Chamber of Commerce, and I'm pretty sure you have many, many years ahead of you for New West. But what legacy would you like to leave through your leadership at the chamber?
One, I think it's important for me as a ethnic minority to be able to say to other women out there that or to show the other women out there that you can do things, you can be a leader in your community, you can make a change, and you can make a difference, right? I was always taught, I should say, not never. I was always taught that if you want to see a difference, you need to be a part of that difference, right? There's that saying. There's that saying that says to be the change, you have to make the change, right? Or something. It's very similar to that. So
To make
I've
the
always
change be
believed
the
in that.
change.
Yes, right? And so you've got to be part of it. I can't sit in my store and complain about things that need to be changed, but not do anything.
Truly.
Right? And
Yes.
so it's that principle. For example, when I first started in the business, you know, I wanted to see things like when I first started in the pet industry, I wanted to see things and I wanted to learn things. And I wanted to understand, why does the parent company make decisions that they do in this particular manner? Like, how is it that they decide this product can come in, but this product can't? So I literally flew down to Las Vegas and I walked one of the biggest pet industry trade shows in North America. And I kid you not, over those 3 days, I walked aisle by aisle by aisle through every single aisle of that Mandalay Bay Convention Center
Wow.
to try and understand, right? And getting to know the buyers within the company, getting to know the company executive walking the floor and asking them the questions. Why is it that we bring this in, but we don't bring this in? What about this? But my market would like this, and then they would say, but the entire market doesn't want that. So just for one store, we can't bring this. So, like trying to understand that. And I think that was like the eye opener, like my store is only so much. I can only fit in so much. My store is not the size of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center that I can fit in everything, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's just kind of trying to learn that. And I think that those lessons have been valuable in being a leader within the community is yeah, I want the I want to crack that glass ceiling. I have cracked that glass ceiling, but I can't have everything.
Yeah.
So what are the key priorities? What are the most important things? And let's work on those. because as you start to work on those key priorities and you start making the differences, and then you start to see slowly the priorities change, you've achievements change, you've achieved this, now what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And so you're just climbing that ladder,
Yeah,
right? And you're going after that next step to see what makes the community better.
that's wonderful. You're very courageous, a go-getter.
Right.
Yes. And so, in your moments of reflection, what do you
Mm.
tell yourself to stay grounded and focused in doing what you do and in your purpose?
Again, learning from my dad and learning from the people around me is, you know, you've got to remember that you've got to be grateful for everything that you have, right? I think sometimes we forget that, that saying the grass is always greener. Man, not so much. It
I
looks
agree.
greener, but it may not be greener, right? So be grateful for what you have. Your success or your definition of success is very different from somebody else's definition of success. So what I consider successful for my store or for me may not be what, the next store owner considers a success, or the next business owner considers a success, or what my best friend considers a success. Right? So don't be don't always be wanting everything. Be grateful for what you have, give back, and be humble.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Karima. Now
Thank
let's do
you.
some fun, fast talk. Please
Absolutely.
let me know, share with us what is the first thing that comes to your mind. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Morning person or night owl?
In between.
Cats or dogs?
Both.
Netflix binge or outdoor adventure?
Probably a Netflix binge.
Sweet or savory?
50-50. It depends on my mood.
First job you ever had?
Believe it or not, McDonald's.
Ooh. Song that always puts you in a good mood?
Any Bollywood song.
Dream travel destination?
I'm going to say the Maldives.
Hidden talent most people don't know about?
That I can cook.
Ooh. One thing you can't start your day without?
One thing I can't start my day without is a shower.
If you had to describe your life right now in one word, what would it be? Awesome. There you go. I'm glad you're happy, Karima. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and your insights with us today. Your
Thank you.
passion, yes, your passion for supporting small businesses, strengthening community connections, and leading with purpose truly shines through. Like your character, almost getting out of this screen, and I'm imbibing it. I love it. To our listeners, I hope you found today's episode both inspiring and practical, whether you're a business owner, a community member, or simply someone interested in leadership. Remember, there's always an opportunity to learn and learn that there's a big world out there. And we almost have the same issues, as Karima would say. Thank you once again, Karima.
Thank you. And I appreciate the opportunity. Have a fantastic day.
You too. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Life Expressions and share it with a friend. Together, let's continue to ignite ideas, spark connections, and build brighter futures. Until next time, I'm Charie Ginete-Ilon. This has been Life Expressions. Thank you so much for listening.